Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the upcoming pattern. We're going to have some milder temperatures, especially up through the northwest, where we could even have some triple digit heat in areas like Seattle and Portland. So we have some really record breaking heat up in the northwest. We're going to have a bit of a chillier pattern down through the southeast and the southern plains. We're also going to be giving you a quick look at the tropics and quickly talking about that rainy pattern which is going to be taking place through the central plains and the Great Lakes. We could be seeing a few areas getting closer to 5 inches of rainfall over the next 4 days. So we're going to be going over all of that and more in today's video, so make sure you're staying tuned all the way until the end. Here's a look at the current National Weather Service page. As you can see, we have some excessive heat warnings in kind of that purple shade for much of the western United States, from Idaho and Montana all the way through the entire state of Washington and Oregon, down into California and Nevada as well. We have a few heat advisories in that orange color, and then in the dark red for Idaho and a little bit of Nevada, we have that excessive heat watch in effect that might be upgraded to a warning later today. We have flood watches which cover anywhere from Michigan down through Oklahoma and Texas, as well as some wind advisories for a little bit of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky, as well as a small patch of eastern Montana. Yesterday we had a high temperature in Death Valley, California of 114 degrees Fahrenheit with a low temperature of 32 degrees Fahrenheit in Berthoud Pass, Colorado. Yesterday we had the highest rainfall report in Cosby, Missouri, where they got up to 9.6 inches of rainfall with no snowfall reported yesterday. Taking a look at the temperature anomaly map, this is basically just a way of indicating where the colder and warmer air masses are. So in the oranges and the reds, for example, in this shading right here, or in this area in the northwest, that's where we're dealing with warmer air masses. What you see through the central plains, that would be an indication of a colder air mass, which is indicated by the blues, the greens, and the purples. So this would be for tomorrow, and you can see that we have a big area of high pressure, which is sitting right in here. So some areas in British Columbia, down through Washington and Oregon, are going to be dealing with record-breaking triple-digit heat in through these areas, even as you get close to the coast. So we're not going to have any onshore breeze, so all your wind direction is going to be coming right off of the land, so it's going to be coming straight like this, and because of that, we're going to be dealing with, instead of that nice onshore breeze that usually can cool down areas that are along the coast, we're not going to have anything like that. So we're going to have the exact opposite. So we're going to have the warmer temperatures coming from inland and just being blown closer to the coast, and because of that, we're really not going to have much of a cooling effect as you get closer to the shores. So pretty much those entire areas along the northwest coast are going to be dealing with some of those really, really warm temperatures. We're going to have some chillier temperatures into areas like the Rockies and the Central Plains, and then we're going to have some warmer temperatures in through areas like the Northeast and the Ohio Valley. If we just move on a little bit more, here would be by Monday, you can see everything shifts a little bit further to the east. So for today, tomorrow, into Monday, and also Tuesday, we're going to have really, really warm temperatures in the northwest, and then it should calm down a little bit for as we get into later on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It should start to calm down a little bit. Won't be as warm in areas of the northwest, but still it will be quite above normal in those areas. Still some of those below normal temperatures in through the central column of the United States. Moving this on a little bit more, you're going to start to see this ridge build in over the top. So now areas in the northern plains and the Great Lakes might start to get into a bit of a warmer pattern as this area of low pressure and colder temperatures starts to get suppressed further to the south. So that would be by Tuesday of this week. You can see how in the northwest it's not as above normal, although it is still quite warm in those areas. That high pressure air mass is continuing to move a little bit further to the east every single day. So it started off right along the shores of British Columbia, and now it's almost getting into Alberta, Canada. So it is moving eastward every single day, but it will still be fairly warm for these areas, especially on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It'll be mostly the inland areas, so you got a few hundred miles away from the coast, and that's where we're actually going to deal with most of the warmer temperatures. Here would be my Thursday of next week, and you can see it gets a little bit colder We're gonna have a little bit of a trough which passes by into the Great Lakes and then down into the southern plains. And as that goes by, it will cool down the temperatures, although we will have a warmer period of time just after that into this weekend. So going on a little bit more, you can see the colder temperatures in through the east and the southern plains. And then if we look at some of the actual high temperatures, just to kind of give you an idea of how warm it actually will be, especially in the northwest, we're just going to take a look at 3 days here. So we're going to look at Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for the high temperatures. And I want you to focus up here into the northwest as well as western Canada, because this area is going to be really, really warm. If you look at for tomorrow, we have high temperatures which are expected to be up near 100 to even 115 degrees in a few of these areas, especially as you get just a little bit inland. So it's going to be almost as warm as southern and southeastern California and southern Arizona as it will be up in Washington and British Columbia. So that's really, really warm, especially for these areas all the way up in the northwest. If we look at the high temperatures for Monday, it gets a little bit warmer actually. And you even look at this areas along the coast and through areas like Seattle and Portland and even further south of there are dealing with high temperatures in near 115 degrees. If you get away from the cities where you have a bit more of an urban effect, which can help warm things up a little bit more, if you go even further out, even into the higher elevations or into the desertous parts of eastern Oregon or eastern Washington, still it'll be very, very warm. It'll be up near 100 to 110 degrees up near Spokane. So areas like that are also going to be still very, very warm. It's not just going to be areas along the coast, but also areas inland, even including parts of Idaho, Montana, Nevada, Utah. So all these areas are going to be very, very warm for this time period. And then if we look at for Tuesday, it starts to cool off a little bit as you get a little bit further west. But now look at the inland areas of Washington and Oregon. You're dealing with high temperatures getting up near 115, 116, 117 degrees in a few of those areas. So it's going to be really, really warm in those areas. So if you live in that area, make sure you are just drinking a bunch of water to just hydrate yourself after these really warm couple of days that are ahead. If we look at the Climate Prediction Center, you can see that we are expecting above normal temperatures for the west and the northern plains, as well as a little part of the northeast. The rest of the country is expected to be colder than normal. If we look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, you can see that over the west, the northern plains, and the northeast, we have above normal temperatures with below normal or colder than normal temperatures all through the southern plains and into even parts of the Mississippi River Valley. If we look at the precipitation now, just to give you a look at what we could be dealing with the drought, especially out through the west, we're not dealing with a whole lot of rain out there. So if you focus into the western third of the country, we're not dealing with a lot of rain, especially as you get into areas like California, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, even into areas like Montana, really dealing with close to no rain. And that's because of that big high pressure, which is going to be in the northwest. As that kind of just sits over that area, it's going to block out any rainfall from happening, unfortunately. But luckily, these areas in the northwest aren't in a huge drought right now. It's going to be mostly the areas into the southwest that have more of the drought issues. As you look through the central part of the country, we have a big band of heavy rainfall, about 2 to 5 inches of rainfall from Michigan all the way into New Mexico and Texas. And that heavy band of rain would even extend into southern Ontario, southern Quebec as well. So basically from Quebec City all the way down to southwestern Texas, we have a big area of 2+ inches of rainfall in through that region. So we have a fairly wide just swath of the country which could be dealing with fairly heavy rainfall. You get to the south there and we're not dealing with a lot of rainfall along the east coast or through the southeast, and finally the northern plains will also get in on a little bit of rainfall. They are in somewhat of a drought in that area, so even if you're just getting 0.3 inches or 0.4 inches of rainfall, all of that rain is definitely needed throughout that region. Looking at the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, you can see that we're expecting below normal precipitation from the 1st of July all the way to the 5th in areas of the northern plains and the northwest, with above normal precipitation expected through the eastern part of the country, down through the southern plains, and then into the southwest as well. Taking a look at the drought monitor, you can see that we are expecting some of this drought to be alleviated, especially as you get into areas like Colorado and New Mexico. This drought will probably be taken away quite substantially because we had close to an inch of rainfall in a few of these higher elevations the past couple of days. So that should go away. Also, parts of Arizona, Utah, Nevada, they got a little bit of rainfall. It wasn't a ton, but it should definitely help out. And then up in the northern plains, you will be getting closer to 0.3, 0.4, maybe even up to half an inch of rainfall, which should help out quite substantially in those areas, considering that we had a quite lackluster spring time, where that's usually when you get most of your rainfall from either snowmelt or just plain rain. And we did not have a lot of that this springtime, and we did not have a lot of snow this winter time, so we didn't get even any snowmelt into these areas. So luckily, we are finally starting to make up for some of that drought in the Dakotas and Minnesota, but it will still take a few more weeks of rainfall for that to fully go away. Now, finally, looking at the tropics, you can see that we do have I believe they put it down to a 20% risk for Invest 95L, which is this yellow region right down here, to actually form. I think one of the main reasons is because we have an area of high wind shear and also drier conditions due to some Saharan dust in through parts of just areas just north of South America. So just east of the Caribbean there, we have a little pocket of Saharan dust. It does look like it'll move right through that area, and probably as it heads into that region is when it'll probably start to decline in terms of its intensity. So we are expecting this to weaken. We're not expecting anything major from it. And you're looking at it on the satellite right now. It's all the way on the right hand part of your screen right here. And you can see it doesn't look too intense or too organized. So we're going to need this to either kind of organize a little bit more in order to actually see this develop. Just because right now it looks like a bunch of storms just kind of put together into a little bit of a cluster. So we're not dealing with anything that's expected to be too organized or severe at this point. Not to say that it still can't develop. And if you're wondering where that dry air is, it's this kind of brown shade, which is over the eastern part of just east of the Caribbean. So that little brown spot in the Atlantic, that is actually Saharan dust, which is coming off of Africa. It moves further to the west, and it's just kind of parking right in there. So it's right in the pathway of this storm. So this storm is most likely going to break apart as it heads into that region, just because it is a drier environment with more wind shear within that region. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.